twice.
The time by Jamaica Mountain Peak Golden Turmeric Latte is
12 p.m.
Wednesday, June 5, 2024. Welcome to CVM News at noon. I'm Ramon Gordon. Tuesday's ban on ride-sharing apps has sparked public outrage. Transport Minister Darrell Vaz announced the measure on Tuesday. The move follows the death of a teacher who reportedly used ride-sharing app InDrive for transport. Now, many Jamaicans have since taken to social media to express their disappointment and disapproval. On X, one user says, "Father God help, it almost feels like living in Jamaica is punishment. The government has failed at providing reliable, safe, efficient transportation options, and a response to alternatives is to ban them." Another user said, "Ride-sharing apps aren't the issue. We need to have a sex offender registry, and all persons who are operating taxi services should go through a thorough background check." Another user shares, "They did not listen to the people. The problem is not ride-sharing apps. It's the inefficient background checks, allowing convicted felons to be alone with the public." Now, among the companies to be affected by yesterday's ban is local ride-hailing provider 876 On The Go. In a release Tuesday, the company hit back at the ban, explaining it has been compliant with all the rules outlined by the Transport Ministry. 876 On The Go's CEO said the company has been vetted and approved by the Transport Ministry and international agencies. It also says its services have gotten high commendations for safety and operational standards. 876 On The Go has been a registered taxi service since 2017. Now, the Caribbean Examinations Council, CXC, has reversed its decision to discontinue 4 subjects at the Cape and CSEC levels. The entity will continue to offer syllabi for Cape Green Engineering, Cape Electrical and Electronic Engineering Technology, CSEC Agricultural Science Double Award, and CSEC Industrial Technology, Mechanical Engineering. Dr. Wayne Wesley, CXC Registrar and Executive Officer, made the announcement during a press conference on Tuesday. To other news now, House Speaker Juliet Holness has broken her silence on the alleged arson attack at Gordon House on Saturday. Addressing the lower house Tuesday, she rebuffed claims that the building had inadequate security.
Contrary to reports circulating across social media and elsewhere, the building was not breached and damage to the structure was minimal due to the quick response of the police officers on duty here 24 hours per day, 7 days per week.
Meanwhile, there's been no arrest in connection to the incident. At least one security expert has since suggested moving Parliament to a more secure location. Moving on now, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has refused to respond to recent speculations about shutting down the National Family Planning Board due to reports of low birth rate. However, the ministry claims the move aims to create a greater level of efficiency. Here is Trisha Kelly.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness is dismissing claims that the National Family Planning Board, NFPB, is being closed as some reports suggest. However, the ministry is yet to respond and will not be doing so, as Director of Public Relations and Communications Stephen Davidson informed our news team they will not be addressing the matter since it's clearly not valid. This after claims online that the board would be shuttered amid the country's declining birth rate. But Davidson reassures the decision is in no way connected to the latest birth rate statistics. The NFPB will instead be moved into a new division, Enabling Environment and Client Services EECS, under the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the announcement in his sectoral presentation last month.
Enabling Environment for Health and Client Services Division. At the corporate office, this division will focus on client services, customer service, client, medical, legal, complaints, compassionate care, as well as environment and human rights functions.
Dr. Tufton adds it will display the ministry's efforts to continue transforming the sector.
This division is going to be a key driver of the real change that is required, having gotten all the tools to do the work. It's not about the tools. It's about the tools being used as an enabler in order to give better patient care.
The integration is part of the ministry's move to conduct change management. The expectation is that this will achieve synergy in operations and greater efficiency, something the minister describes as a key factor in improving the health sector.
What we need now in public health, and this government has put all the variables to make it happen, is a change management concept and a change management tool in order to ensure that we bring all the pieces together to ultimately achieve the transformation for the interest of the patients.
The government had announced the integration years back, even before the NFPB's report of a low birth rate, dismissing the allegations the ministry is seizing the agency's operations. In July 2023, Minister Tufton defended the government's decision to integrate the agency as well as the National Council on Drug Abuse into the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Trisha Kelly, CVM News.
Now, the JLP's youth arm is criticizing PNP members over comments made about Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton following a cycling accident recently. They claim remarks from the PNP's Nikisha Burchell were false and vulgar. G2K is the latest to join the conversation, criticizing the opposition spokesperson for her remarks on the healthcare system. Courtney Lewis has that story.
Unbecoming, disgraceful and vulgar. These were the words used by head of the G2K, professional youth arm of the JLP, Shane Kerr, in a press release to describe the comments made by PNP Director of Communications, Nikisha Burchell. This comes after she criticized the healthcare system for allegedly providing preferential treatment to Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton after he was admitted to hospital upon sustaining injuries from a fall this weekend.
Minister of Health, as he said, fell off a bicycle and broke his wrist. And 2 Tuesday in a comfortable bed at hospital. How many of you have relatives who've had to sit on a hospital chair for days with serious condition? The health minister bypassed the chair. Them can't go lay down in a hospital bed. And people still sit down out at door, pan chair, are dead.
But she was not the only one with concerns about the state of the healthcare system. MP candidate Senator Peter Bunting also took to the stage, saying it was scandalous for the government to use tax dollars to rent unused buildings when there are patients who have poor experiences in hospitals.
It is a crime when you think of the people who lie down on cardboard, patients on cardboard, sometimes for days, on the wooden bench at Mandeville Regional Hospital with drip in them arm. And it's not hearsay. We go there for visit patient 4 days after they were admitted, and them still in the waiting area, lying down on the wooden bench with drip in them arm. That is scandalous.
The G2K, however, strongly condemned Burchell, saying the PNP should not use the injury of Minister Tufton to score political points, nor should it be exploited for political gain. Kerr insists the government is sensitive to the needs of the healthcare system and is making investments to improve facilities. Courtney Lewis, CVM News.
Now, the death of PNP councillor Rohan Bryant has sparked outrage among his family and loved ones. They believe he died due to lack of care at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Community members and members of his family joined in protest at the facility. Members of Councillor Bryant's family, along with former colleagues and concerned residents, gathered outside the Princess Margaret Hospital in St. Thomas on Monday with placards in hand and a chant on their lips. They demanded answers and accountability for what they allege is a lack of care that led to the untimely death of a councillor and a list of other patients. The late PNP councillor's widow, Jacinth Bryant, said that the nickname for the hospital, quote, Princess Morgue, is reason enough for an investigation into the continuous lack of care experienced at the facility. The widow explained that her husband waited for 4 hours to be seen by a doctor after he fainted twice. This after returning from the medical facility where he had his lungs scanned.
He had the lung scan done. He came back. He was back at Princess Margaret Hospital at 4:45 p.m. He died at 10:21 p.m. I spoke with him at after 8 o'clock, and I said, Washi, what the doctors said the report said? He said, Jazzy, no doctor no look on the report yet, no doctor no see me yet.
She said after an hour, his response remained the same. The supporters were adamant that Councillor Bryant's case is not an isolated event.
Where the people of St. Thomas need to stand up and demand that they get proper health care. It doesn't matter what your condition. Since Mr. Bryant passed, an old man sat over there on a bench all day, and when his wife couldn't take it anymore and went to call emergency help. When she come back as a dead man.
Councillor Hubert Williams called for more resources at the only hospital in the parish.
The residents of St. Thomas deserve to have a good hospital. And it can't be that we don't have a good lab here. It can't be that we don't have the necessary apparatus to carry out the investigatory work, and yet still we don't have ambulance. If we don't have these labs and we don't have ambulance to transport these people, then we are operating a morgue.
The Princess Margaret Hospital did not address protesters. Ramon Gordon for CVM News. We'll have more CVM News at noon after this.
Sure we can. We never see a boil up patty like you.
Hey son, you good?
No, Dad, I'm starving. Can we get some juicy patties?
Celebrating over 40 years of everyday moments.
It's MSW Events' 10th year anniversary, and we proudly present our signature mass wedding 14-14-14. This June, Jamaica will witness 24 deserving couples become one in an unforgettable ceremony. Save the date as we embark on an enchanting journey to June 14, 2024.
Welcome back. It's time for our discussion segment. Today we're looking at Transport Minister Darrell Vaz's move yesterday to ban all ride-sharing services in Jamaica for at least a year or until regulatory measures are in place. Now, this follows the police's confirmation that an in-drive operator was at the center of the suspected kidnapping and murder of a teacher. Joining me now to dissect and the move and reactions is Edgerton Newman, and he is the director of TODS. That's the Transport Authority. The transporter TODS. Absolutely. Mr. Newman, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, to begin our conversation, what is your reaction to the move, and would you say it was absolutely necessary at this time?
Let me pick up from your last couple of words. It was absolutely necessary at this time to pull the plug on the ride-sharing groups that is not providing the service they ought to provide under the regulations of the Jamaican transport sector. I think we have waited long enough, over close to 4 years, for the government to do something about these share ride groups, especially two, InDrive and Uber. Well, it's never too late for a short rain, As you might be aware, I've been on this thing from day one, and of course we have reached the pinnacle now, and we have to put a stop into it.
Yesterday, you were speaking to one of my colleague reporters, and you were advocating for ride-sharing apps like 876 On The Go. However, even the local services were banned. What do you make of that?
I was rather surprised yesterday when I saw the name 876, because that is one of my organizations, my groups, and I think they were playing to the books. They were doing everything according to the government of Jamaica, and to see them in the news saying that the plug will pull on them, it was rather surprising. But after discussion with the minister yesterday afternoon, he assured me that that was something that we are looking at immediately and asked for change in the pulling of plug on them.
So, Mr. Newman, you've said they were playing by the book. Is this response by the government then a knee-jerk reaction? Is that assessment accurate?
It is not a knee-jerk reaction, but overall, we as Jamaicans love to come out and make pronouncements when something happens. And I think this happened because of the situation with the young teacher. But I must say, we have been looking at this situation for the past 3.5 to 4 years. And we have been calling the government to do something about it. Well, it's come to the date now when something must be done. But I would not say it was a knee-jerk reaction, because 2 months ago, we met with the government, at that time when we had this issue with the fear, setback of our fear. And the groups were at the table with the government, and the government made a submission to cabinet. The minister made a submission to cabinet on the matter. So we have been dealing with it, but the right time has come.
Now, Mr. Newman, I needed to address this concern right here. The minister says the move was prompted by safety concerns, yes? But some have argued that those same safety concerns exist in the public transportation sector. What do you make of those charges?
Safety is one of several concerns. Our members, our 37,000 or more members in Jamaica has been losing because of the advent of Uber and InDrive. The fact is that they have been undercutting the cost of local transportation. A person, we used to go on campus, to pick up students, and over the past couple of years, we are unable to do so. But the Uber InDrive can just drive on campus with their white plate, any type of vehicle, pick up passengers, and when we have to pay the bursary on campus to go on campus. So there's a number of things, a number of variables, and we are saying that it can't work this way. My taxi man, if you want to drive a taxi, he has to go through all the rudiments. You have to get the police record, training, every single thing, just to drive a taxi. I'm not going to go to the extent to talk about safety, because safety, we've been having challenge with safety of our passengers for years. We have some young men who drive taxis who fall through the cracks. They come into the system because the owner buy a car, you give it to a man to drive, and we don't the checks and balances. So we have that problem for many, many years. But over the past couple of years, we have been seeing where InDrive has taken over numerous problems we have, safety problems we have with InDrive.
Mr. Newman, before you move on, I want to address one of the points you said just a while ago. So, considering the ban on the ride-sharing services, would you be open to more stringent background checks for PPV operators in general? Because you have admitted that sometimes the criminal elements do slip through the cracks. So, are you then advocating for stricter background checks?
Absolutely. And if you hear me a few months ago, matter of fact, even a few weeks ago, saying that training for every public passenger vehicle, recall, suspension of license. We're having a major meeting in the next few minutes in halfway tree. So we want our members to go through all variables in order to provide the best experience in transportation in Jamaica. But you're going to find a few, and we say when you find those few, the books of law must be thrown at them. And nobody coming to this country to provide public transportation without going through those issues.
Mr. Newman, we spoke very briefly a while ago about background checks, but what other additional measures do you think are needed for safety? Because a lot of the concerns of people following the ban now is concerns of safety. So how do we reassure the public that the other options will be as safe as some will argue Uber is?
Okay, first of all, I think the Transport Authority is doing a good job by creating an app or a couple of apps that passengers can use if they're going to take a taxi. But from an eye point of view, I'm saying that passengers need to